Welcome back to ciLiving. Daniel Urban from the University of Illinois has visited ciLiving several times, so we are taking a few minutes to learn more about his career, and then later today he has a science activity for us. Welcome back. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
All right, so last time we were here in between breaks, we were chatting a little bit about your career, and I was so fascinated. I would love to hear the story of how you ended up at U of I.
I actually came here for graduate school. I got my PhD here in evolutionary developmental biology, and the whole time, even when I was doing my undergrad, but throughout my grad program, and then afterwards, I just continued to do science outreach in my own time just because I really loved engaging with people and teaching them about the science and getting them as interested and as excited about things as I was. And eventually, I ended up landing a spot right back here, which is great because I love it here in Central Illinois. But the Institute for Genomic Biology had a position open for a full-time science outreach person. I love doing the research side of it,
right,
but I love just engaging with people more.
Yeah.
I came back for that.
And you say came back, so backing up even a little bit further in your career, this is kind of like a second career for you almost, right?
Or third, or fourth, or fifth.
Let's go all the way back to the beginning. What did you do in previous lives?
So I actually joined the Army straight out of high school. I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do. I knew I definitely couldn't afford college. I served 8 years in the Army. I did a couple of tours in Iraq with the 82nd Airborne Division. I came out of that and I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I was a carpenter for a while. I've done some finance work. I ended up becoming a police officer in Charlotte, North Carolina, just because I still had that kind of desire to serve,
right,
to help people. Eventually, I wanted a job where there were less bullets involved.
Of course, so, that makes a lot of sense.
So that's what led me to going back to school, getting my degree in biology, and eventually leading me into the current trajectory where I was. It took a long time for me to figure it out,
but what you wanted.
I'm finally really, really happy with what I do. I admire people that from a young age all the way up just know what they're going to do and they stick with it.
Sure.
I think that is amazing and a little bit weird. Because
right, because you don't relate to that.
I don't at all. I wanted to try a lot of different things, and it took me a while to find my niche, but I'm finally here. I'm really happy. As a matter of fact, my wife is fond of telling people that it's weird how much I enjoy my job.
Well, it's always good to do the thing that you love. And how did you eventually land on biology?
I was always fascinated by biology. That was my favorite class back in high school, even when I enlisted very early in my senior year, so I still had to finish all of high school before I actually went on to active duty, and I still kept taking additional biology courses even though I had finished all my requirements.
Oh, interesting.
It was just one of those things I had a long time interested in, especially evolution and the way organisms have changed over time. So I ended up coming back to that.
And that's amazing because that kind of leads almost into what we're going to talk about next, which is looking at some different bones and things like that to kind of see how things have changed and evolved and things like that. All right, so of all of your careers, I know that you love what you currently do, but if you couldn't do what you could, what would you go back to if you had to?
Oh, my. Honestly, and it's very fortuitous that you just had somebody doing woodworking on the show here, because I still enjoy that aspect of it. I am nowhere near as handy as that. I'm much more general things, but I worked for a number of general contractors, and I learned how to basically build a house from the ground up.
Oh, wow.
And I still enjoy doing that. Like when I'm able to make something, there's a great sense of accomplishment at the end of it. You know, you don't always get that in some of the fields I've been in where you can see the tangible results of something at the end of it. And it's just so fulfilling to be able to, you know, there's a completed thing. It's very obvious. Look, I made that.
I made that, exactly. Or driving by a few years later and being like, oh, that's the house that I built. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. It's so fascinating. And we are going to have more from Daniel Urban. When ciLiving returns, we are going to look at all of these skeletons. Stay right there.